You're watching Transformers of Eternia. Now today I want to take a look at all of the Constructicons in their glory for the Transformers Studio Series 86 Constructicons / Devastator complete set all together. I recently got every one of these. I paid a little bit extra to get a couple of them before they come out because they're taking forever. So I decided I'd have this thing all set to go so I could give my thoughts on this thing. But before I do that,
if you enjoyed this video, why not hit that like button and subscribe for more videos like this.
Okay, so here's the comparison between the Constructicons and the actual Constructicons from the cartoon and how they looked. There's a lot of similarities, a lot of things look pretty close, but some things are a little bit off. I know that Hook's leg would be different, and a couple other things are different on some of these. I know that Mixmaster has different legs too, but whatever. Overall, they look pretty close to what they're supposed to. So yeah, that's what you get for these. They actually tried to go with the cartoon look, and that's what they're going for, so it makes sense that they look about like this. Now the cartoon was kind of boring looking figure. I mean, the characters looked kind of boring, but because it's very simple drawings, but I think they did a good job trying to keep the same kind of feel anyway. So that's the comparison between them and the cartoon. Okay, so we got Hook here, and this is, I think this one's an okay. I think they're all kind of boring in a sense, kind of okay, but not the greatest. But whatever, that's what I think anyway. I'm sure you have a different opinion perhaps, but anyway, there are some changes with this guy from the original cartoon version. So obviously you could see the legs are a little bit different. But yeah, this guy's still pretty cool. He doesn't look terrible. It's just, he's kind of, I don't know, they just kind of they feel a little bit boring sometimes. But whatever. That's what I think about this guy. He looks good. He actually mimics the cartoon fairly well. Posability on the arms are kind of, it's like right there, there's like it's like the joints are a little weird to me. But anyway, this is different, and it should have been this in the front right here. So I don't know, it seems weird that they didn't do that, but I could see why they didn't do it. I mean, the head and all that stuff is okay. Everything else looks fine. So that's the way it is for Hook anyway. So now we get into Bone Crusher. And Bone Crusher is probably my least favorite out of the bunch. He's got parts on him, the fillers that I bought off of eBay. So you can see those in there. But yeah, and these forearms or whatever, I bought those too, and they're basically 3D printed so that you could see the color difference a little bit. But this scoop here on the chest though, that's my biggest problem with this thing, because they could have had this up. Instead they got this hinge. I mean, look at this weird scoop crotch. I mean, what the heck's going on? But yeah, so, and then this black thing, I think that he could have had a waist swivel if they would have had this stupid thing for the thing here. I don't know what's going on with that. I just don't get it. I don't get it. The Combiner Wars version of these or whatever, the Unite Warriors or whatever, I got Unite Warriors. They didn't really have this problem, I don't think. But like I said, the thing in the back, that kind of drives me nuts. It looks weird. This thing is like, I get it, it's the arm piece, but yeah, I don't know. I'm sure they'll do that with the new Predaking that they're doing again too, which will kind of ruin that. But yeah, this thing is not the greatest. I'm not a big fan of Bone Crusher in this line. And it's really just kind of a cheap, but boring and not really inspired looking character. And that's how I feel about him. So that's pretty much everything I think about Bone Crusher. Okay, so now we get to Mixmaster. This one here I just got. I paid too much money for this guy online, but I decided I wanted to get him sooner because it takes forever for these last two to come. So I got Mixmaster because I wanted to complete this set. So anyway, he's okay. He's all right. I don't think he's the greatest either. Like I said, all these are kind of lukewarm. Like, they're just kind of meh, I guess, as individuals. And these joints, I don't really like these joints on these arms. It's like you could always go. It's like stuck in one. Like it gets like like this joint on the elbow, it like either goes all the way down or all the way up. It's like there's like a no happy medium in between. It's like you have to really kind of move it a little bit weird to get it to like at that perfect joint area. I don't know. It's kind of a weird joint. It feels, I don't know how to explain it, like gummy, like it doesn't want to go. I don't know. Anyway, and it's just weird the way it bends. I don't know. I don't really like any of these perfectly, like, to be honest. I don't really think they're the greatest. They're not like Ironhide or Optimus Prime or even like the Hot Rod mold. And what is this? I mean, this is really dumb. What is that, Hasbro? That looks weird. Why did you have to do that? Isn't there a better way to do this instead of having this weird butt portion? I don't get it. So anyway, this thing is okay. He's not the greatest. I mean, the feet, you could have these feet come out like little duck feet or whatever, but I don't do that. I think this looks more like the cartoon like this. So anyway, that's really it. I mean, these things, they just come out on the bottom. You could put them out for either way. Anyway, everything looks okay, but he's not the greatest. So now we get to Long Haul, and this is part of the Commander set that will hook in Long Haul. And yeah, he looks cool. He's really bulky. He's kind of like the Hulk out of the bunch, but he's not as bulky as the Unite Warriors or the Combiner Wars version, which is insane. But yeah, this guy's, once again, he's pretty basic and pretty boring. I mean, he has to look like the cartoon. I mean, the wheels on the back, they kind of have to stay like that. You can get a set to kind of make the wheels flip in or whatever. But I mean, like I said, it's really boring. And then he comes with this trailer thing that becomes the basically the hips and the legs connections anyway. So that's what you get. But yeah, he's pretty basic. He's pretty boring. So I don't know. It's not too much with him. So I think he's okay. I like his gun. I think it's better. It's cool that they have a two-tone gun. But other than that, that's Long Haul. And he's just basically just whatever. He's kind of boring with the wheels on the back that didn't fold in. You can buy those parts, like I said. But other than that, that's pretty much Long Haul. He's just kind of boring, I think. He's kind of big and bulky. At least he feels like a Voyager anyway. So now we get to Scrapper. And Scrapper is probably one of my favorite ones out of all these, honestly. I think that he has the most, he's kind of boring and basic too, but he has, I don't know, he has this appeal, I guess, at least for me. So I kind of like him a little more. He has everything kind of poses about right and everything, whatever. He's got the scoop on the back. I think I got this scoop on set up wrong. But anyway, so yeah, he's got the scoop on the back, and he looks like the cartoon. Everything looks right. I got these things off of eBay or whatever to fill in the gaps and kind of fill in stuff. You could see them. The green is very different from the green. And plus the camera makes it look even more off matching. But yeah, so this guy's cool. I don't really know what to say about him because he's pretty basic and he's just Scrapper. That's just how he is. So now we get to Scavenger, and Scavenger is another one that I just got. I paid a little bit too much for him, I think. So yeah, this guy is pretty basic, and he kind of is tipsy too because of his backpack and everything. So he wants to tip over pretty easily, but I do like how the scoop kind of folds up and does all this moving. There's a lot of articulation in this scoop. I really like that. And if you go by what the cartoon has him, he actually has that scoop hanging out in the back, if you see the image that I just showed at the beginning portion of this. So you can kind of see the comparison of him and the cartoon. But yeah, let's not do that with the scoop. But yeah, he's pretty cool. I don't think he's great. None of these really stand out as great characters. Like I said, they're not exactly like a Voyager, Rodimus, or Hot Rod or whatever for the Studio Series. So they're just kind of basic. But the crotch here is not really it's kind of like a diaper. It's not as bad in person, it feels like, but it's still pretty noticeable if you look at that. And he's similar to Bone Crusher. He's got the treads for the legs and everything. Of course, that's what the original cartoon had, but he's pretty basic. Okay, so now here's the vehicles, and these are the vehicles compared to the cartoon. So that's what you get. So we're going to go right to Scavenger. This is his vehicle. He's pretty cool looking. I like the scoop once again. I think he's pretty basic once again, but I at least like the gun. At least the gun is actually able to mount on there. But yeah, the scoop and everything, he can do everything with the scoop. can do everything. This guy has a lot of personality in this scoop, basically, so that's kind of cool. So yeah, that's Scavenger. He looks really cool, I think, out of all of them, unfortunately. And this comes off too. That's another thing I figured to say. Unfortunately, they're all kind of boring, and yeah, he looks like the cartoon. You can even fold this scoop up in there like that. So yeah. And we got Scrapper, and he at least has the gun. Once again, can mount on the back. But this guy, I think this guy looks cool. I like how this looks and everything. I've always liked Scrapper more than a lot of them. I don't know why. I'm trying to get the thing undone right here, so you can kind of move this up so you can actually do that type of stuff. That's kind of cool. So anyway, but yeah, you can hook that down again. But yeah, this is a pretty basic, you know, kind of plow. So here's Long Haul with the trailer attached. So that's kind of cool that they gave us this extra trailer. This thing is pretty bulky and big. You really, this thing, I don't know, it's a pretty big bulky thing. There you can actually put guns up at least on top there, whereas you can't really do it any other way. It rolls okay and everything. I don't really like this trailer hitch right here. I think that could have been a regular, like, realistic trailer hitch instead of a little peg thing. Like, it should have done better. I don't know what they could have done better with this. I don't know. It's for the price you're paying. I think they could have done better with the trailer hitch. I don't know. It's just something that bothers me about this, because like you can't really, like, you set it like that. You see, you don't even have something to hold the trailer up, you know. I don't know. It doesn't really need that, but you know, for the price, we should have got something like that. So now it folds down when it's not attached. So that's kind of dumb. I don't know what's going on, but that's just something they did. So putting that aside, Long Haul himself, though, he can't really haul anything because he's got his legs in there, basically. That's pretty much all his legs. So now we get to Mixmaster, and Mixmaster, I think he looks good in vehicle form because he does look like he's supposed to now. He doesn't look like the Combiner Wars one. Everything looks okay. He looks like an actual mixing truck. He can put his gun on the top at least, so he can have a weapon while he's in vehicle form. That's nice. And I feel like there should be a Decepticon sign on this, but I don't know. I guess that's something that I just kind of always feel it should be there. I don't know. But yeah, he's pretty basic. He rolls okay. Everything's fine. Everything's so tight to the bottom. I mean, it's like he's like a low rider here. So any rock or pebble would have basically taken out the muffler if this was a real vehicle. But yeah, he's cool. I like the way this guy looks. He's definitely a Mixmaster, though. That's what Mixmaster looks like. So yeah, I don't know what really to say about this guy other than he looks like him. Now we get to Bone Crusher, and Bone Crusher has parts, obviously, that I bought off Amazon or eBay, I mean. So this top piece here, these top piece is where his arms are that I actually had to add on. So it doesn't really fit tight together there because of that. So that's a little something that is my problem, because I bought this third-party 3D printed piece for these arms. So I don't think the original ones are like that, but they're kind of stumpy. But you can see the other fill in the gap parts under there and some of that stuff. But this guy's basically a brick, so there's not really much to review on the vehicle form of this. He doesn't roll or anything, so that's just how he is. So that's pretty simple. He's okay. And I don't have any place to put the gun on this one now, because of, I think that the arms had a hole in them before for that. It doesn't fit here. So this one, you can't really put the gun on the vehicle. So I don't know what to do about that. So that's the way it is. So now we get to Hook. And Hook is pretty basic too. Like all of them, they all kind of have the same basic kind of format. I can't get these arm things to go in. I don't get it. I can't really show it to you like that. But anyway, it's like the feet are on the bottom, and there's like a peg hole that you're supposed to slot this in there. I guess you're supposed to have the hands out. I've looked it up, and I think that the hands are supposed to be out, which is kind of weird since they fold in. But anyway, and I don't know. That's just weird that you can't peg those in like that with the hands, whatever, out or in or whatever. But yeah, he's pretty basic. He has this, like this for crane or whatever. It doesn't really go out very much, so that's kind of weird. But anyway, so that's really what you get. And I mean, it's really tight, so yeah. But yeah, he's pretty basic. He's Hook, I guess. And then his gun, I just put it in here, but you can't really store the gun anywhere because it doesn't actually slot in there. It should. There's enough room. But whatever. So that's Hook for you. I don't know what to say about this guy either. He's just kind of, he just looks like Hook. And I don't know, maybe there's somewhere to put this, maybe like a, you can't really plug that in right there because it's got the thing, so you can only do it like this, which is really weird looking. So you can't really peg the gun in. So I keep looking for places to put these guns on the vehicle form, but there isn't really, everything doesn't work. So I don't know, I might be doing it wrong. I'm not a genius at this. Okay, so now we got Devastator all combined and everything. This is my first time combining him, so this is what he looks like. Anyway, this is him compared to the cartoon version, which is very simple in the cartoon, but you can see there's a lot of similarities. They obviously look the same in most ways anyway. So overall, I like this guy. He's a little bit more beefier and stronger than the Combiner Wars or whatever version of this that they had out before. He doesn't feel like he's going to come apart super easy. Everything's tight and together pretty much. Everything's good. So I'm glad that they did it that way. So anyway, taking this guy, trying to move him, doesn't feel like he's going to fall down. So he's kind of bulky. Yeah, he's not really, he's just sturdy, you know. He doesn't feel like he's going to flip down or whatever. Like that one foot kind of feels a little wobbly though. It's probably because of this material that this is on though. But yeah, so this is what he looks like from the side or whatever. Yeah, and he just kind of, I'd hate the backpack. They really need to do something. But the leg here, that's what feels like it's I don't know, I think it did something wrong with it. It might be this material, but it feels like this is, like the one leg is a little bit flimsy, like wants to flip down. I don't know. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. But it's kind of cool, so I don't really think this is really bad. So let's take a look at the back here. You can see everything, how it kind of, I don't really like how there's like, you can put the guns on the back here on these posts, which is nice. I try to put everybody's gun on their actual figure like that, you know. So I'm trying to make sure that don't lose the guns that are going to whoever they go to. But yeah, you can kind of see how this is laid out in the back. I think they could have done a lot better on the back, but I understand that you're not going to see it from the back all the time. This is a lot of clutter going on here with this backpack for long haul. But whatever, it's the way it is. That's the back of Devastator, I guess. So now I figured I would actually show off Megatron, because I paid a little too much money for that too, to get him early. But it's Megatron. I mean, I love Megatron. So I wanted to compare him to Devastator. So now you can see him compared to Devastator and all its glory with these two together, which they look cool. I think Megatron looks a little too big, but I know some people are okay with that. That's fine. But for me, I think Devastator should be a lot bigger. It's just the way I feel. I don't know. So here he is compared to Superion. Obviously, mine is not complete yet, but yeah, so you can kind of see how they look together. Superion is shorter. Devastator is a lot bigger than Menasor, which is cool. I actually think that's good because I really like Devastator to be a lot bigger. But basically, Menasor is just Menasor. He's kind of basic, so that's the way it looks anyway. So now here's Devastator compared to the Unite Warriors version of Devastator, and obviously he's a lot taller. He's like the big daddy of this Studio Series version of Devastator. Of course, that one is a little bit more fragile. If you try to pick him up and everything kind of just wants to wiggle and move around, it's not really tight and strong and compact and like bulky like the Studio Series one. So that's just my qualms with that. And of course, the Mixmaster is a lot different on that one too, as you can see. But yeah, so that's my Combiner Wars / Unite Warriors version over there on the right. So yeah, and he's pretty big. I'll always keep that one around because it matches better with Omega Supreme. And that was the Siege Omega Supreme that I had that for. I keep this one around because of that, because they both match about the right height. But yeah, so Studio Series 86 Devastator is I think higher quality in his Devastator form, but not in the individual bots form. But also the individual Constructicons for the Unite Warriors are not the greatest as well. So I don't know. We never get really great individual characters. It seems like there's always little flaws. So here's the three compared together. The Unite Warriors, the Studio Series 86 Devastator, and the Siege Omega Supreme, one of my favorite giants of all the Titan versions anyway. So anyway, you could definitely see a big, huge difference here. So they're definitely going to have to give us a new Omega Supreme for the, I don't know, Studio Series 86 or whatever. I don't know what they're going to call that. If they give us a new Omega Supreme, it's going to have to be a little closer to this Devastator size, because obviously there's a cartoon showing how that they were pretty close together in size, and they worked together at one point on Cybertron. There's a whole cartoon on that, unless they want to leave that out of canon. I don't know. But yeah, so Omega Supreme is gigantic compared to the Studio Series 86 Devastator. So I don't know, I just figured I would show this off. This takes a lot of room to show this off on the video, but it is pretty cool to see all these together. Here he is with a micro mini deluxe version of Optimus Prime, which is a little weird that they did that, but I guess for Devastation, the video game, this is what he would look like, even though in the video game Devastator was huge in that. So, and then there he is standing next to Megatron, but see how big he is compared to everybody. Now here he is next to Tidal Wave, and he only comes up to his waist, and that's pretty small for Devastator. But I mean, Tidal Wave is from another generation, and he is a gigantic starship aircraft carrier and everything. And he's a Titan, of course. So yeah, he's huge. But yeah, I just figured I'd do a comparison of these two because it's kind of fun to see that. Here he is next to Tripticon, and he's just patting him on the shoulder saying, "It's okay, little buddy. I know you're not that big." So anyway, but yeah, Devastator, he just kind of looks small, but of course Tripticon turns into a city like spaceship type of thing as well. So, and he's a Titan, of course, so he's huge. But yeah, Devastator looks a little small, but yeah, I think this is about the right height for Devastator against Tripticon anyway. And now for another comparison, Jetfire next to Devastator, and Jetfire almost is as tall as Devastator. That's pretty amazing because Jetfire is pretty big, but Devastator, I feel like Devastator should be a little bit bigger than that compared to Jetfire, but okay, I guess. Anyway, this is what we're getting anyway, so that's the way it is. It's like a love-hate type of thing. He's small, but he's sturdy, but I like him, but I still wish he was bigger. And finally, I just wanted to kind of do a comparison with him next to Menasor, and Menasor is not as big as him, which is okay because I think Devastator should be a little bit bigger than Menasor. But yeah, and then this is him next to Optimus Prime, Megatron, and everything all lined up and everything. So I just wanted to kind of show this off, and this is pretty much, I don't want to make this video too long. So these are my thoughts on it. He's a good figure. He in Devastator form. In individual characters, I just think that they were not the greatest individual figures because they had to stick to the cartoon look, which is kind of boring, but I understand why they're trying to stick with the cartoon. But they're also kind of just boring, and they didn't transform in any interesting way. They kind of had just basic, everything was kind of basic with them. And some of them didn't even look very good in their like actual transformation robot forms and stuff. And I just kind of wasn't, it just wasn't the most, it wasn't the high quality like a Ironhide for Studio Series or something like that. I thought Ironhide was a pretty quality figure. I mean, and Hot Rod was pretty quality too for the prices. So these are like in that same kind of ballpark, and it just seems like they were lesser quality. But I don't want to make this video super long, so tell me what you think about this stuff in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe, and thank you for watching.